I would usually categorize, formats of science communication into two ways. That is online outreach and offline outreach. So online format of communicating on the internet has become so prominent that it has, garnered its own space, right? So there are so many different ways of reaching the audience through online modes. And these are the common ones that all of you folks have already mentioned, right? Writing, art, podcast, videos, on social media. If you're active on Twitter, people make tutorials talking about a particular research that is published, webinars like this, books, movies. The internet is your oyster, right? So there are so many other modes in which you can find ways to communicate science. Offline, interestingly, I see that a lot of you have mentioned these different places where you can engage with science, communicate, talk about, have conversations around science, right? So museums, of course, are a famous way of communicating science or discussing science in general, interacting with science. Science centers, planetariums, parks, and different ways, unconventional ways that have become famous in the recent past is to have nature walks, discussions around science in cafes. People invite scientists to a cafe and you have an informal conversation about a topic, let's say about black holes, right? So we're still exploring all of that. We're trying to figure and understand these concepts better. So having an open conversation around that in apartments and societies where you can get together people around you and talk about science, right? So literally, there are so many ways of exploring science, and this is the best, this is why science communication has an upper hand over everything else, right? So yes, of course, exhibitions are a great way. Do you all want to add anything else to this entire list? Is there something I'm missing? Online or offline, anything fine. Anything is fine. Yes, TEDx talks, TED Talks are great ways to ponder over concepts. Botanical gardens, science influencer, of course, that falls under, I think that covers a lot of different formats. It could be video or social media, through social media or videos. Yes, games, gamifying and understanding science is something that's also a very interesting way. Bversity, of course. Wall paintings, that's interesting. Competitions, yes, hackathons, competitions, right? So we can try to find solutions of communicating science to people, right? Of course. Wonderful. NFTs, okay. That's interesting. I have a basic understanding about NFTs, but I'm sure that's an interesting way too, because it's around how you can build or share information through art or different methods, right? So laboratories, open days is something that I think one of them mentioned in the chat box. So open days in academic institutions are a great way for students or anyone outside to explore science, or what's the kind of research that's happening in the institutes in their neighborhood, right? So that's that. Awesome. So with all of that said, so do you want to see a few examples of all of these things on how to communicate science? Of course, we have said that through writing, art, podcasts, and all of that we can do. Offline also through interacting in museums, etc. So do you want to see a few examples that is happening right now where you can engage with people? Perfect. So yeah, so now I'm going to give you a lot of examples on what is happening around where you can actually interact and be part of, because of course, you read a lot of these articles, from different platforms, but you don't know where to get started and, how you can contribute, etc. Right? So, I'll run you through a lot of the examples that I know and I have engaged with mostly, right? And of course, I can also keep dropping in a few words about it in the chat box, so what are the places you can explore, in whatever format you're interested in communicating, right? So